Good morning, brothers and sisters. Happy New Year. Thank you so much for coming. I know it must have been really hard to wake up after staying up after midnight. But yeah, if everyone can please rise, we're going to start singing songs. We're going to start with Open the Eyes of My Heart. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. All right. Next song we're going into is Shining Fatherland. Yes, please free to sing along.
Families in the field.
Thank you. Give yourselves a hand. Last song we're going to be singing is Light of Grace. For the song, please feel free to grab a brother or a sister. You can close your eyes and just allow yourselves to feel God's love. This is a new year, new day. Hope that you can really, just welcome God into this environment. Really invite Him in to prepare hearts for the Sunday service. Shelter is near. Shelter is near. Trust in Him. Trust in Him, for God is love. I'll give my life. I'll give my life and my love unto the one God of all things decay. All things decay, passing away. Only the light, only the light shall remain. All things decay, all things decay. Still there is one. Still there is one, true and faithful, true and faithful. God is love. I'll give my life. I'll give my life and my love unto the one please join me in prayer. Good morning, Heavenly Parent and true parents. It's your sons and daughters here, my brothers and sisters gathered here. It's 2023. Thank you so much for giving us life, for giving us so much love this entire past year. Yes, I really pray that you could really feel invited into this environment that we just set, that you could really feel like you can be here, that you can be embraced by us, not just you embracing us alone, but we're embracing you right back. I hope that throughout this morning service and throughout this entire time we're here, not just this one day, but for this entire year too, that you can feel at least our yearning to be with you, at least our efforts in trying to invite you and trying to be with you. So thank you so much, God. And I just want to offer this day to you. Praise in all our names here, in our mind and Catherine Medina, it's Dr. Edgar Lance Medina, blessed your family, Audrey.
All right, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Yeah, it's a new year. We're finally in 2023. In many ways, it feels like last year was very short, but also it was long because of everything that happened. But yes, it is the new year, and I'm seeing a couple of, not new faces, but returning faces. How many of you haven't been here in the past maybe 2 months? Here for the first time in the past 2 months? Okay, there's one. Yeah, I noticed there are a couple of people from, let's give them a hand. Welcome back. Yeah, a lot of people are back for the holidays as well, so it's just great to have you here. Welcome home. And so to get started, actually, let's give a hand to Passaic County. They're our volunteers for this week. Passaic County, they're cooking the food downstairs, greeting you out there, just making sure that Sunday service runs smoothly. And of course, during the closing song at the end of service today, you can offer your tithe by coming up to the offering boxes here, or you can make your donations online. And then of course, Sunday service is always being recorded, so in case you miss it, you can always access the content by going to FFWPU NJ at YouTube. We're going through our rebranding soon, so you'll hear more as things happen. It looks like our dancers are getting ready. It's a sneak peek of what's to come. But yeah, so that's what's gonna happen there. And so now we're gonna go straight into gratitude sharing. And so just for the sake of not spreading something, let's just turn to our neighbor right next to us and please share what you are grateful for this morning. It's the new year, you can also share your resolutions, but at this time, Sunday school is also dismissed. Your Sunday school teachers are waiting for you upstairs. So if you're in Sunday school, feel free to head up into your classroom. That is pre-K all the way up to 8th grade Sunday school. For everyone else, please turn to the person next to you, behind you, or in front of you to share what you're grateful for this morning. just, yeah, chill. Yasu. It's Yasu. All right, let's bring it back into the room. I know it's a lot to share. A whole year's worth of, of gratitude and reflections. Good to see you. You always look great together. Yes. Okay, so this time we'll have just one person share their gratitudes. I go around just looking for someone who is inspired. Some of you just don't look so inspired sometimes. But today we have Takafumi Mashiko sharing with us his gratitude.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
Good to see you. So what I shared for my gratitude was simply my parents and just the past year of experience that I had. Yesterday, my family reflected together, like past victories, failures, and new goals, just like Pastor Naokimi's directions and upon sermons. But yeah, I struggled searching and reflecting for victories and achievements. So it was really fun when my parents were suggesting to me what kind of achievements that I had over the course of the year. And I thought to myself that a lot of those things that my parents pointed out were things I haven't been fully able to achieve, or I thought it was failures. But from my parents' perspective, they told me it was an achievement. So I'm really grateful for that. And yeah, I really feel like throughout the course of the year, I just received a lot of help from God and a lot of people from the community. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Takafumi. Yes, reflection. I also got a time to reflect last night at midnight as well. All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about is we just had a winter workshop. It's called the Next Generation Winter Workshop. By show of hands, how many of you were there at this winter workshop? Yeah, so a couple of youth here. Oh, Naokimi was there too. So a couple of you were there. Arena as a cook, as a chef. Actually, if you were staffing the workshop, can you just stand up? Anyone who was staffing this workshop? We have a couple of people. Hiro, I see you in the back. Of course, we got Yasutaka, Arena. So let's just give them a hand. This was just incredible. It's a lot of work put to make this happen. You may be seated. So the theme of this was next generation. So recognizing that the youth of this movement are the next generation of this unification movement, and with each other, together, we will define the culture that's to come. And so the theme was identity of a blessed child, and the key topics was, okay, looks like we have to turn that one back on, but who is a blessed child? Kind of in terms of lineage, true parents, and the history of our unification movement. And we had an opportunity to hear from Dr. Ward and Hiroshi Suzuki about their testimonies on how and why they joined the church, with some Q&A for the high school and middle schoolers to get an idea from the first generation, and also finding God as a blessed child, just from a principle standpoint, who is God, and also encouraging them to develop the relationship with God and ways in which they can connect to God as a blessed child. Next, we talked about challenges as a blessed child. So there are many challenges that we face, but it's just better when you're aware of them and you can best prepare for them. So that's why we talked about this. We had Q&A that went very well in high school and middle school. And finally, we talked about blessed life culture. That in order for our tradition to continue it all depends on us to take ownership over our own lives of faith, but also of the future of our movement. So those were the main topics we covered. But before I call up some testimony givers, I'd like to just ask him to play a video, a recap of the Winter Workshop Next Generation.
Like this, we come alive in moments like this. Here we are, this is a time, like a dream coming to life. We live for moments like this, we come alive in moments like this. Moments like take a breath. Thoughts racing through my head. I try to capture it, but a picture can't hold what a heart is feeling. I just wanna stop the world from spinning, slow it all down for a minute, so that I can take it in. I can take it in. Here we are, on top of the stars. Never thought we'd ever get this far. We live for moments like this, come alive in moments like this. Here we are, this is a time, like a dream coming to life. We live for moments like this, come alive in moments like this. Moments like this. I don't wanna close my eyes, I'm feeling so alive. I try to find the words, but no words can say what my heart is feeling. I just wanna stop the world from spinning, slow it all down for a minute, so that I can take it in. I can take it in. Here we are, on top of the stars. Never thought we'd ever get this far. We live for moments like this, come alive in moments like this. Here we are, this is a time, like a dream coming to life. We live for moments like this, come alive in moments like this. We lost so much in the fire of time, but something about you has got me feeling alive. There must be magic inside your bones. When I get lost, dear, I'm not alone. You feel like home. You feel like home. You feel like home. You feel like home. We go without. This love gets us by. When the table is empty, you bring out the wine. There must be magic inside your bones. When I get lost, dear, I'm not alone. You feel like home. you feel like home.
Yeah, that was made by Sunch. The video was put together by Sunch. He actually just recorded it all on the fly, worked throughout the night to just make it available for the final day. And we had a total of about 110 participants, middle school and high schoolers, and including staff, about 160 people there. And what was great was that this was actually the first ever winter workshop for a lot of the participants. We hadn't had a sub-regional winter workshop for 3 years because of COVID. The last one was in 2019. So even for our staff members, first time staffing for a lot of them as well. And it was just an incredible experience. There was of course, it was very jam-packed. Actually, one morning we woke all of them at 5 a.m. to go outside and find God. But even then at the very end, everyone had just a really incredible experience. And through that, of course, you saw that they had a lot of fun. If you feel like you missed out, next year, please sign up. You can sign up to be there, supported in any way, shape, or form. But in order for you to be able to live the experiences that you saw up there vicariously, I have just 2 testimonies. One of them is from my co-director of the Winter Workshop, Yasutaka Ozawa. So let's welcome him up.
Thank you, Fred. So actually, I had the honor to serve as the middle school director for the middle school workshop this time, and as we were reflecting as core staff, I really like what Fred alluded to in saying that this workshop itself was really a miracle. We started planning on December 1st, so we only had less than a month, 3 weeks to plan, because we started on the 26th, and we asked around the youth pastors from all across Subregion 1 to come together, and the unity was really incredible. Just how people, these young adults, who were pouring themselves out, even though many of them are going through school and going through final exams during the planning phases, they still took some time to be able to invest into these wonderful younger brothers and sisters from all across Subregion 1. And one thing I was able to see, is that these middle schoolers, they're only 12, 13, 14 years old from 6th grade to 8th grade, but they were more on time than the high schoolers, and more on time than their own staff leaders, for some of them. Not all. So my staff are really good. And that they're so well behaved. I think, the topic that Fred introduced about understanding your identity as a blessed children, even though they're so young, they're really interested. I was able to give 3 out of the 4 lectures, and they were all very attentive. Half of them maybe asleep after we ate lunch. But still, they learned a lot. They were very focused in their team discussion, and every night I get to hear reflections from the team leaders, and then they're able to say that this participant was able to share about this point. This participant was struggling, but on the next day they were able to overcome and able to find God or understand God on a deeper level. And another point that I really understood powerfully from this experience was just the power of prayer. In our middle school experience, we were able to watch a movie called Cokeville Miracle, which highlights the power of prayer and how when a community comes together to pray and focuses on one thing, then spirit world moves and God really protects the people who are being prayed for. And that made me reflect on just how many prayers have been invested into this workshop that I'm not able to recognize, or I don't even know about. It's behind the scene. One, of course, all the parents praying for their children, all the parents praying for the staff members. So I know my parents pray for me almost every day. All the community members praying for the success of the workshop, but also really moved by the heart of the staff members, because we also set a 21-day prayer condition with some of us. Because of the scheduling of our busyness, we actually woke up every single day at 5:40 in the morning to pray for about 7 minutes and then join morning devotion right after. And so I'm really grateful to all the staff who really invested their time and effort and prayers. And also I'm really grateful to everybody here in the community for supporting us. Even if it's indirectly, your presence here was able to make an impact in making this workshop successful, especially for the middle schoolers. So thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, Yasu. Yeah, I was directing the high school workshop, and Yasu was the middle school. And he pulled a miracle because in the beginning, most of the staff were high school staff, but just through his leadership alone, he just made it work, and the middle schoolers had an incredible time. So just thank you, Yasu, once again. And now, just to hear a little bit about a participant's experience, I'd like to invite one of the participants of the high school workshop. She was actually, I think, she was always sitting in the front and very attentive, so which I really appreciated. You know, so paying attention, awake during the lectures. And so let me just invite up Jaya Alvarez.
Good morning, everybody. So I was a high school participant, and this winter workshop was truly amazing. It was great, and it was such a great experience, and I'm so glad that I attended this year. During this workshop, we learned so much, and we were we went more deeply into like what we do into this movement, and it was really inspiring as a second gen. It like made me more interested. Like I wanted to go tell my friends about it. I'm like, bro, you should like totally listen to this principle. It's so cool. And we did a lot of activities where we had to really be connected to God. And we went through we did challenges, and we had to put ourselves in God's position. And I never realized how God truly struggled as our parent. We never really truly appreciate what he's done for us. But this workshop has really helped me realize that God has struggled so much trying to keep us all happy, and he's carried us all throughout our lives. And when we don't realize it sometimes, but he's always loving us even when we don't feel any love. So during this workshop, I went through different challenges, like physical challenges where we had to be held back. But we all had a goal, and we also had God working with us through that goal. And I was able to push through it because I knew that God was there supporting me, and I knew that the people around me was supporting me. And I'm truly blessed to have these people in my community, and I was able to work with all these people. I'm just so thankful for God, and I'm so glad that I really went to this workshop. I'm sorry, I'm crying. But it was an amazing experience, and even though we struggled, and a lot of the blessed children there, we all had to go through stuff, because we learned that actually a lot of in this movement, a lot of people, a lot of the first gen had to make sacrifices that were really life-changing. And as a blessed child, we also faced so many struggles. But even with all that, we still have God to help us do it, and we have each other. So, but I heard actually from a few friends, they were like, oh yeah, through this workshop, I've had a lot of spiritual experiences. A friend of mine, he's a middle schooler, but he told me that one night while he was there, he saw a spirit, and so did his friend. But so one of his friends started praying about it, and my friend just went to bed not thinking so much of it. So when he slept, he actually had a dream that he died, so it's more like a nightmare. But the friend who prayed, he actually slept very comfortably, and he didn't have any nightmares. So it's we definitely learned a lot about the power of prayer, you know. So it's really important to pray. And I never really cried while praying there. I never cried while praying at all. But we had a moment where we had to say a 7-minute prayer. And I talked to God very sincerely, and I told him everything. And even though it was we were with a bunch of people, and it's kind of really difficult to express yourself when like you don't even know them that well. But surprisingly, it was easy because like you know that the people there care about you so much. So, and since I'm talking to God, I like you know that he also cares about what you have to say, and he wants to know what you're truly feeling, and like he wants you to be genuine with him. And I really felt that I was. So I'm so glad to like feel like a changed person after this workshop, and I really understand my responsibilities as a second gen, and I wish to like continue this path that God has set for me. And I'm so grateful for all of you guys, and I'm so grateful for God too. So thank you so much, everybody.
Wow. Yeah, there are many moments in this workshop that when I was just moved to tears, and a large part of that was when I was seeing the heart of our second generation and just thought to myself they're so much better than me. So much better than me, and even Jay sharing, I just felt that again. And my hope is that, and that's the hope of our true parents, and our hope of first generation is for the next generation to just keep getting better and better and closer to God's heart. So let's give a hand to Jaya one more time, just sharing her experience. All right, so in case you feel like service is going on long, well, we've got a lot more for you. Yes, we are starting the first Sunday of the month with our National Hundoke campaign, and so we're talking about the 1, 2, 3 hour 1, 3, 12 and exposition of divine principle. And so just to go, the purpose of this is the unity of our North American members towards establishing a tradition of Hundok reading to deepen their understanding of and relationship with Heavenly Parents and true parents. And this time we have some people who have completed, I believe, 1 hour and some 3 hour and possibly some 12 hour. Some 12 hours as well, and we have some gifts for you. So I'll just like to call up your name, and then when I call your name, just please come, receive your certificate, and just move to the side, and at the end, we'll all take a photo all together. So to hand the certificate, I'd like to invite Pastor Naokimi and Pastor Atushi Takino. Okay, starting with the 1 hour EDP completion, completing it 100 times, we have Yukari Ozawa. Yukari Ozawa, let's give her a hand. And we have next 1 hour EDP, Tony Voza. Tony Voza. Up next, we have a 3 hour 30 times completion, Koji Ozawa. Our next 3 hour is Ava Clark. Ava Clark. Next is Michio Sato. Michio Sato. Kotoe Kato. Kotoe Kato. Masanori Nakamura. Masanori Nakamura. Mie Warden. Mie Warden. Next we have Marissa Bell. Marissa Bell for 3 hour EDP 30 times. And next we're gonna go on to our 12 hour completion. I believe this is 21 times. Let's welcome Keiko Kamiya. Keiko Kamiya-san. Along with her husband, Shinichi Kamiya. And finally completing 12 hour, we have Marie Ong. Marie Ong. All right, if every awardee can please come up to the front, take a photo all together. Please make your way to the center of the stage with Pastor Naokimi and Atsushi Takino in the middle. Congratulations. Yes, we'll be doing this every month, so if you ever complete your reading, so it's right there. That's 100 times for the 1 hour, 30 for 3 hour, 21 for 12, and 10 times for all the other books. Just let Pastor Takino know, and we'll be sure to award you and give you something commemoration of it. And with that, we're going to go to our musical offering soon, but before that, actually, last week there was just a short. Some of you saw the Sunday service video, and actually, can we give a hand to Koji Takino? Koji, he helped me record it and edit portions of it. So, yeah, I'd just like to thank Koji for that. And so, in there you saw there was like an incoming assistant pastor. That was one of the notes for someone over there. And so in our Clifton community, we have a new assistant pastor who's going to be working together with Pastor Atsushi Takino. And so I just like to invite, I hope she is here. All right, so let's actually, just to introduce her, I'd like to welcome up our pastor, Naokimi Ushiroda.
Okay, so yeah, I already mentioned this yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday morning we had a community care host meeting, and we introduced a few new staff. So today we wanted to introduce 2 new staff positions in our community, Clifton Family Church. Since we are the largest community of Family Federation in America, we felt we needed a little bit more support. Really grateful that actually Nancy Jubb decided to step up as an additional assistant pastor for our community. She's really been doing a lot more recently locally for our community, and she has a real passion, particularly for member care. And so she's going to help us in the in-reach aspect, but you can also reach out to her if there's any needs that you have. So with that, I'd like to invite up Nancy to share just briefly a greeting to the community. So let's welcome up Nancy Jubb.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Pastor Naokimi. I think that this has been God's plan, or I feel that for myself for a while, that His hand was kind of guiding me in this direction for a few months now. And I'm deeply grateful to Pastor Naokimi for accepting my offer to support more here in the community. I know that as a community we have our own kind of vision and mission statement and values and things, but I know for me personally, the one thing, my deepest desire for this community is simply that no matter who walks through that door, even if they're a homeless person off the street, that they truly feel that they are part of this family and that they can immediately feel embraced and feel the love of God. And that's the one thing that I hope to really bring to this community, that each of us can really connect to our value as a child of God and to know our truest self. And by knowing that, we can know our Heavenly Parent so deeply. I'm really excited to serve, and I'm so grateful to work with Pastor Taquino. I feel like, I've mentioned this before a bunch of times, but I feel like Pastor Taquino has really been like a safety pin for the community, like kind of keeping things going and behind the scenes working so hard. And I hope also to take some of that burden off of his shoulders and that we can work together. And I'm so excited to inherit from him. I feel like if anyone matches my passion, it's Taquino-san for this community. So, so yes, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. All right. And we have one additional staff I wanted to introduce today, and his name is Jake Lavinia, and he's all the way from the country of Philippines. We happen to be supporting the Philippines from Subregion 1 as part of our Global Giving Fund, and Dr. Yong specifically invited Jake to come be here to help serve in this community as a missionary. So he's kind of a full-time working and serving. His area will be particularly focused on helping single members age 18 and older to really care for them, particularly the young first generation. So we're really excited as we've been doing a little bit more outreach recently in Clifton Family Church. We want to really take care of our new members that are coming. So to help us do that, we've invited Jake. So to share a little bit, let's invite up Jake Lavinia.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Happy New Year. So I'm so excited to be here working as full-time. This is an eldest nation. And to be working in full-time young adult department is really, I think it's really a great blessing for me because I know that there's so many things to learn from young people. And to be able to meet these people, like now I'm spending like 3 weeks right now here. I meet some of you. So I'm just very, very excited, and hopefully we can really bring this department together to God and true parents, true mothers investing a lot for young people. And that's our goal is, and I hope that all of you, and I do believe that we will really unite as one, embrace these young people more, and they'll become our source of power to really bring victory to God and true parents. Aju!
Anyway, I forgot to mention, he is also trained in the international UPA program, Universal Peace Academy, under Mother's leadership. So he has a lot of international experience. He served in other countries, and now he's going to be serving our community directly. So once again, let's welcome Jake for his commitment and service to our community. And back to you, Resfred.
Thank you, Naokimi. So yeah, welcome Nancy, welcome Jake. I know for Nancy, when we first mentioned Heavenly USA, we're like, a woman. yes, there will be more of a motherly heart for the community as well. So feel free to reach out to her, continue to reach out to Pastor Taquino, and of course Jake for the young adults of our community. And with that, actually, before we go into our sermon, it's going to be great. But before that, we have 2 performances for you. One from our Japanese Bon Odori dance crew. So let's welcome up our Japanese dance crew. They're always ready to perform. I don't think they had much of a notice, but thank you so much for offering just such a beautiful dance. And next we have from, it's a Filipino community, but we know there's one community in New Jersey that's concentrated with our Filipino brothers and sisters and children. So let's welcome up our Elizabeth Family Church dance and singing crew.
One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. I believe it's not too late. Together we can change the world. Lay the puzzle pieces out. Find out what it's all about. Together we can change the world. Can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for your help. Together we can change the world. Sail past where it's been charted. Roll your sleeves up to get started. Together we can change the world. Together we can change the world. Hands and with our hearts, we can dare to make a start. Together we can change the world. What if we spoke with one voice, knowing that we have a choice? Together we can change the world. Can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for your help. Together we can change the world. Sail past when it's been charted. Roll your sleeves up, let's get started. Together we can change the world. Together we can change the world. Change your mind and change your life. Set aside the fear and strife. Together we can change the world. When we open up our eyes, then we start to realize. Together we can change the world. So I'm asking for help. Together we can change the world. Sail faster, it's been started. Roll your sleeves up, let's get started. Together we can change the world. So I'm asking for your help. Together we for your help. Together we can change the world. Sail past where it's been charted. Roll your sleeves up, let's get started. Together we can change the world. Together we can change the world. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I believe it's not too late. Together we can change the world.
All right, thank you, Elizabeth Choir. And with that, we're going to go on to our main sermon for today, our main message, and it's the new year, and so just well-themed is going to be on a fresh start. So it's a sermon series that's starting today, I believe, for the next, 3 weeks? 5 weeks. For the next 5 weeks of sermon series. We'll show you a postcard with more information at the end of today's sermon, but let's welcome up our pastor, Naokimi Ushiroda.
Okay, good morning, everyone. And Happy New Year. So, I know some of you were here last night and to open the new year in prayer with the community. So thank you for those who came. I was actually at home with my family. We have a small tradition, watching the ball drop and sharing our first kiss of the year with some bubbly apple juice. Yes. Anyway, you know, in the beginning of a new year, I think it's appropriate to really set goals. And I felt similar to last month, we did a whole series on kind of completing the year well. And this month, I wanted to do a series with the theme of a fresh start. And we'll be giving out these cards later on. The overall series for January is going to be on a fresh start. And we'll be covering these 5 different topics. Anyway, each one will be designed to really empower you as an individual to really have clarity around your goals for the year and really to make it the best year in 2023. So today, we're going to be talking about setting goals with God. So goal setting is actually one of my favorite topics. For those that know me, I am a goal setter. I love setting goals, setting and achieving goals, but I know that this is not everyone's cup of tea. And there's very good reason why not everyone loves goal setting. But today, I wanted to explain a few reasons why setting goals is so valuable. And I hope that by the end of the sermon, you'll feel excited about setting goals for this year and also see the spiritual value of setting goals for your life. So let's begin with the definition of a goal. There are a few out there, but simply what I found was it's an aim or desired result. Very simple. And the question that you might want to ask is, why is it important to set goals? So let me ask you guys here, and you can shout it out. Why do you think it's important to set goals for your life? Anyone? Motivation, okay, helps you stay motivated. Very good. Anyone else? Say it again? Gives you focus. Yes, very good. Gives you focus. You kind of know where you're going, what you're spending your energy and time. Any other reasons why it's good to set goals? Clarity. Yes, clarity is similar to focus, and then accomplished. You can accomplish more things. Actually, you guys covered most of the topics I will be sharing about today. So the first thing I'd like to share about the value of setting goals is it does give a sense of purpose and direction in your life. You know, if you don't set a goal, then it's kind of like wandering aimlessly. You know, it's almost like trying to drive. You know, you usually put a destination in your GPS when you drive somewhere, but it's like trying to drive without having a destination. You can maybe enjoy the scenery, drive around a few times, but if you don't have a clear end in mind, then at the end of the day, you feel a sense of purposelessness. And so it's really important to take the time to clarify where it is that you want to get to in life. So that's one reason. Here's a quote from Father Moon that I found. You need to set a clear goal of your own and follow through with it. Before your ship sets out on a voyage, you have to know where it is going. So, as mentioned in the quote, not just for driving a car, but even a boat, he liked the ocean. So for sailing, you also need a direction to go anywhere. Now, the second reason was also mentioned about accomplishments is by setting goals, you will be more productive in your life. Okay? You can achieve more partially because when you focus your energy on one thing or a few things, you can get more done. Now, there was a study, Virginia Tech, they followed a group of students from the time that they started college for the next 25, 30 years of their life. And they did some surveys to find out which of these students actually wrote down their goals and which of them didn't. They found that it's only a small fraction, maybe 6 to 9% of students actually wrote down their goals. But they followed those over the course of 30, 40 years, and they found that over that time span, those students who wrote down their goals, guess what? They ended up, on average, earning 9 times more than their fellow peers, on average. 9 times more. Now, that's a big difference, right? It's like, having a net worth of $100,000 in your 40s versus $1 million in your 40s, right? So, that kind of seemed high to me, so I kind of reflected and thought about how can setting goals make that much of a difference in your life. But if you do the math, even in basic investments, right? If you invest $100 at 10% every year for 25 years, actually you end up with more than 9 times the value. So think about it this way. By setting goals and writing down, let's say it just improves your productivity by 10%. But if you do that consistently over decades, then it will produce a result that can generate 9 times more productivity than if you don't write down and set goals. Does that make sense? So this is another reason why I think it's important and valuable to set goals, is for your own productivity, for yourself and for those you care about. But there is one more reason which I wanted to emphasize today. And that is to strengthen your life of faith. Now you may wonder, what does faith or goal setting have to do with faith? Right? It's just a productivity tool. You set goals and achieve them and you gain confidence. But if you think about it a little bit more deeply about what is the definition of faith itself, right? Faith is kind of believing in something that you can't tangibly see yet. Is that right? Right? Faith is actually believing in something that's not yet seen or unseen. Actually, there's the Bible verse, Hebrews 11:1. I really like this quote. It says, "Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen." So, according to the Bible or this verse, it says that faith is actually the substance of things hoped for. You actually have to want something, believe in something before it actually happens. But that belief, that faith in something that has not yet happened, is the substance of it being actualized later. Does that make sense? Think about it. What is goal setting? Goal setting is setting goals to achieve things that have not yet happened. So the setting of goals is actually a very fundamental tool of also experiencing and developing a life of faith. Now that is if you also include God in that process. And we're going to talk about that later. How do I include God in my goal setting process? So, 6 figures there. Okay, so quick story. So I turned 30, and I had graduated college. I remember I was taking time. 30 was a significant year, so I was reflecting on my life. And I was doing mission as a youth pastor, so kind of like what Yasu was doing. But I was doing it full time. That was my job. And I enjoyed doing that mission work. The only problem was I was poor. Mission work, church work doesn't pay well, if you guys haven't figured that out yet. But it's very fulfilling, right? So I asked God in a showdown prayer, I said, God, all of my peers from my business school, they're earning, by 5 years out of college, they're all earning 6 figures. Why can't I? I want to be able to earn 6 figures, but yet I was actually a very smaller fraction of that at that time. Anyway, I had this prayer. I said, God, I really believe if you are my sponsor and you have all power, you should be able to let me earn 6 figures. So I made that prayer. That was in February. That was my birthday. 4 months later, I got fired. Okay? So that was a shock to me. I was like, wait a minute, God. I told you I wanted more money, not less money, right? So I got fired from a job that I thought was completely secure because it's a ministry role that no one really wants. But I got fired, and for not a bad reason. It was just a change in leadership. Don't worry. Anyway. And I ended up actually working at a entry-level accounting job at the New Yorker Hotel, which turned out actually paid 25% less than what I was earning as a youth pastor. So now I'm telling you, this is 3 months later, September, I'm like, wait a minute, God. Again, let me clarify. I wanted more, not less. Anyway, I really followed kind of my gut, and I really felt like, I felt like God was guiding me through this process. Again, I had no control over those two kind of changes in my life. At that time, I had a 5-year-old son and a 1-year-old daughter. And with our monthly rent and expenses, I mean, we were running negative every month at that time. We were eating into our savings. So it was a pretty desperate situation. Anyway, to make a long story short, things turned around. My wife actually started a job. I also was rehired in a different role as assistant controller for Family Federation. And with both of our salaries combined, and with a few more raises, by the end of the following year, we were collectively together earning 6 figures. And I really felt like God was responding to my request the year before, really with my sincerity and determination that God was able to respond in that way. So feels odd talking about that, but anyway, you can give a hand for that. It's not just about me, but it's about God responding to my request. Okay. Anyway, to me, that was like an example of really setting a goal beyond what you may think is practical or possible, but believing it 100% and really striving towards making that a reality, and then seeing how God can respond to that. Okay, so how do we set goals with God? There's a few steps. The first step is you need to first know yourself. Okay, this is important. Because in order to set goals, it's not just about let's see, what do I do today or this year, 2023, new year, maybe I'll have a new car, a new house, so on and so forth. You gotta think, what is it that is truly you? Because the most effective goals are a reflection of who you are, okay? This is really important. Because if you don't base it on who you are, you're basing it on what society wants or what you think you should do or what you feel like society expects you to have. And those aren't real goals. Real goals are things that are stemming from who you are as a core identity. And next Sunday, I'm going to be walking you through a process to also clarify these identity statement or your original self. That's next week. But the first step is to know yourself. Here's a quote. This is from Father Moon. In your studies, you may have a favorite subject. The subject should be something that you value, that suits your aptitude and catches your interest. It should be something that you will enjoy all the time. You have to focus and study that subject. So this is a really cool quote. Basically, you need to know your strengths. You need to know your passions. And you need to really hone in on what it is that I'm good at, what is it that really excites me, and then focus in that area. So I constantly do this for myself, and one of the things I always come back to, and I also did this last year, was I really love empowering others in personal development. That's like my bread and butter, goal setting, personal development. And so I decided, you know what, this year, 2023, why not bring it to Clifton Family Church? And so this year, starting this month, I'll be doing these sermon series to incorporate a lot of those goal-setting tools that I've used for my coaching practice in the past. I want to bring it into the community, and I want each of you to really get clear on your core identity and your goals that you will be very excited about to do this year. What do you guys think? You excited about that? Okay. So that's my passion, that's my strength. But each of you have your own unique strengths, your own unique passions, and imagine a community full of excited people setting and achieving their goals, growing in their strengths and passions. That's the kind of community that I want to be a part of. And so we're going to go through a whole process of getting that kind of clarity within myself. And if you know of anybody who you think could benefit from this, I want to encourage you, especially this month, to invite them. If they're not here, share the sermon, share the link, have them watch it, and then come next week to go through this process together. Second step in setting goals with God, first is know yourself. Second is to seek God's will for you. Okay, so there's of course your strengths and passions, but it's not just about you. Actually, it's really important that you seek what is it that God wants me to do. Okay, it's not just about what I want. Although that is the core, that is the beginning point, you also need to ask, what is it that God wants me to do through my unique strengths and passions? Do you guys see that? It's like you need to know who you are so that you can also understand what God can do through you. And that's a key combination. Here's a quote. This is also from Father Moon. You need to discuss with God regarding this important matter of your life. You must live your life in a way that God can move with you, and history can move with you. God reveals his will to central persons in order to fulfill his providence. So, as I mentioned, Father, Mother Moon, they've always lived their life this way. It's not just about what they can do, but also asking, what is it that God wants to use? How does God want to work through me? And if you think about this, take a moment to ask yourself, maybe you're good at cooking. Maybe God would like you to share your talent and feed the community, Right, Matthew? Or maybe you're great at singing. Or maybe you're great at choreographing. Maybe there's an element that you can express to bring more joy to the community through performances or volunteering as part of the choir. The point is, it's not just about, sacrificing for the community. Actually, that's the way you find true joy in life, is when you're fully utilizing your talents and passions in a way that serves other people. So to me, it's not necessarily a sacrifice by using these talents. I find more joy when I'm training others, when I'm empowering others. I find tremendous joy and value through doing that. So same thing with you. Please find a way to ask God. Take a moment to ask God, how can God use my strength and my talent, my passion to really serve others? And the final step in goal setting with God is be open to God's plan, because what you want and what you think God wants may be different than what God ends up asking you to do. May look different, okay? Here's a quote, Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 through 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make straight your paths. So, many times we think we know the best. I'm guilty of that often. My wife reminds me. But if you can humble yourself for a moment and always check, is this what God wants me to do? Then you'll be surprised at the kind of answer that might come. Or you might face a situation that on the surface looks like this is exactly not what I want. But if you trust that God is still working through this situation, you may find that behind the surface, that's exactly what you also had wanted in the beginning as well. When I told you about the six-figure story, when I got fired and we got a lower-paying job, I felt like it was exactly opposite of what God wanted. But actually, if I wasn't fired, if I didn't go through that different kind of job, I couldn't have really received the new job or even create a situation where my wife felt compelled to get a job herself. Of course, she wasn't so happy about that. But actually, she was happy that she could also, find a job and earn for the family. So it's kind of like sometimes we have to go through the real deep challenges in order to get what we asked for. So don't resist that. Embrace the challenge and the course that you need to walk in order to get to where you really want to get to. And that, in many ways, is what God asks us or walks us through in order to get to really where we want. So, when I, going back 7 years ago, well, actually it's more than 7 now, but 2013, I had just finished my last kind of mission there as the Director of Leadership for GPA. This was in 43rd Street. Again, long story short, I didn't know what I was going to do next, but I asked the president at that time, Dr. Michael Balcom, about what I could do for the community. And he, going back and forth, I negotiated a job called the Director of Strategic Planning. It was perfect for me. It was all the things I wanted to do, which was strategy, planning, organization, finance, operations, but with the convenience of kind of a regular 9-to-5 job without having to travel. It was perfect. I designed it that way, and I negotiated with them, HR. So finally, after 3 months of negotiation, they said yes. I was so happy. I skipped home. I told my wife, don't worry, I'm going to be home, and this job is going to be a great, secure job for future, other opportunities as well. 3 days later, I got a phone call that Mother Moon wanted to see me in Hawaii. Some of you may have heard this story, but basically she wanted me to be the CARP president. Now, at that time, CARP, the student organization, was in the worst condition it was. The president had just resigned, the staff all quit, and basically there was no funds, no membership. It was parked for 6 months, so there was nothing. But Mother Moon asked me to step up and be the president of this organization. Anyway, it wasn't exactly my cup of tea or what I wanted to do, but I said yes. And over the course of the next 7 years, I went through a course of really developing the CARP organization, expanded to youth and young adult ministry, included an Ocean Tribe and YSP and so on and so forth. And then fast forward 7 years, just 2 years ago, I was asked to serve as the president of Family Federation. And that wasn't what I had expected, but I knew in my heart what I wanted was I wanted to serve our community in a way that would give the greatest impact on our organization, on our education, and on our finance. And I feel like God was listening, just he felt I needed a little bit more training and practice. And so I had to go through that kind of course to get to where I felt I really wanted to be. So when you ask and you get clear on what you want, you just have to be willing to go through the prerequisites to getting to where you want to be. And that may be something that you may not expect or even like. But if you're true to your goal, then you can withstand it, and you'll find that actually that challenging process is what's preparing you to be where you need to be and where you want to be. Okay, so don't worry about the struggle. I mean, know that those struggles will come. Once you're clear on your goals, the struggles will come to fine-tune you into the person that you need to be in order to accomplish what you want. So if you understand that, then you can really trust that God is working through those situations. I wanted to end with a few samples of historical figures who've also set goals with God. So the Pilgrims, they really set out for a new world. You know the story. The founding of America started with these Pilgrims who wanted a new land where they can freely worship God. And actually that dream, that vision, at the risk of their lives, they left everything behind from home to travel to Israel. They didn't know even if they would survive, but they did that with this intention of being able to freely worship. And that was the beginning point of America. There's another figure, Martin Luther King Jr. We'll talk about his vision a little bit more in one of our sermons later this month. Here's a quote: "This will be the day when all of God's children will be able to sing with new meaning. My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride, from every mountainside, let freedom ring." So Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., he really had this vision or goal of a country where every person, regardless of color, could really be treated equally and really worship and honor God together as one family, one community. And because he set that kind of dream and goal, his effort contributed tremendously towards better equality here in America. Do you guys know this picture? I think many of you may. This was I think the first church that Father Moon built when he was in Korea, when he just started his mission work. And it was made out of cardboard from Army Reserve boxes. It was only big enough to hold like a few people inside. But even at that point, Father Moon had this dream together with God that someday people from all over the world will come to Korea to visit this land. And of course, if you were there at that time, you might think he's crazy. Many did think he was crazy, but he had this dream, this vision, this goal that he set together with God, and he stayed true to that goal, and lo and behold, 50, 60 years later, literally people from every country in the world are visiting that same space to really honor the life and legacy of Father and Mother Moon. So that is the power of really setting goals together with God, is that you can tap into this amazing energy. I think this is the final quote here. This is from Mother Moon. True parents set as their lives providential goals, the liberation of God, the salvation of humankind, and the realization of a peaceful, ideal world. And they have completely invested their lives for the sake of those achievements. So, I guess I want to just say that, the final, the example that I want to share is, true parents, Father, Mother Moon, they've really dedicated their whole lives for this dream, this goal of establishing one family under God. And actually, each of us here, are kind of the fruits or the results of that dream. We're not quite there yet, but we're working on it. And I want to encourage, the more each of us can take ownership over that dream, the faster we can realize that dream. And similar to the song that was just sung by the Filipino group, we can make a change. And every person here can contribute to making that happen. So recap, how to set goals with God. First, know your gifts and passions. We're going to go through that, a whole process next Sunday. Second is understand God's will, or seek to understand God's will for you. And third is be open to God's plan. The reflection question, what is one goal you would like to set for yourself this year? We'll give you 5 minutes after my sermon to reflect on that and share. And the challenge for the week is I want you to write down 3 goals before next Sunday for 2023, and then share it with somebody. Okay, this will prepare you for the next Sunday service. So again, we covered setting goals with God today. We're going to go over a topic called My Original Self next Sunday, going into God's dream and mine. That's also connected to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Dealing with doubt is going to cover, anytime we set goals, we face challenges and doubt. So we're going to go over how to address those. And then finally, on the last Sunday of January, I'd like to share a vision for the future of our New Jersey Family Church here. So all of this is preparing for that. So please look forward to an exciting series that you can also invite others to. So in conclusion, I shared this a little bit, but I really want, my hope for 2023 is that this year is going to be the best year you've ever experienced. I want it to be my best year as well. And I really feel as the local pastor here, we can, if each of us can get clear on your identity, your strengths, your passion, and find a way to contribute that for our community, this will be a really exciting, thriving community where we can continue to grow and develop and build that kingdom together, starting with this community. So with that in mind, may God bless you and your family this week, and I hope to see you guys the rest of the Sundays this January. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Pastor Naokimi. So that was on the very first of the 5-week series on setting goals with God, So let's just take 5 minutes, as Naokimi shared, to reflect on the question of what is one goal you would like to set for yourself this year, based on the 3 prompts that were put up. What is one goal you would like to set for yourself this year? All right, let's bring it back. Bring it back to the room. You'll have a whole month of goal setting. It looks like we have five weeks in this month, maybe up until the 29th. Yeah, we do, because today is the very first. So let's bring it back to the room. I hope you're all able to come up with a goal, something to strive for this year, of course, and then along the way include God in it, be open-minded to what God has to say to you. And with that, I believe as you were reflecting, these postcards were being handed out. It says, join us for a fresh start at Clifton Family Church, Sundays at 10 a.m. So this postcard is meant for anyone who would like to invite someone to join and be a part of it. So based on today's sermon, if you feel like you have a friend, a family who can possibly benefit from what's to be shared, so at the bottom you have the 5 different sermons. Today was on goal setting with God. Next week is my original self. The following week is God's dream and mine. And then the following week after that is dealing with doubt. And finally, vision casting for the New Jersey Family Church. That one's going to be a huge one. So you all want to be there. But if you know someone who would like to be a part of this, feel free to grab. There's a lot more right out there as you go to just hand it out to invite them to our Sunday sermons. And with that, I'd like to just invite up our assistant pastor, Tushi Takino, to sort of wrap it up and close us out with a benediction.
Good morning. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Yes. Thank you. Yeah. I was actually sharing already that I was watching the many videos to how I can become more success or how I can become the good leader, something like that. I love that kind of the topic. But one thing I realized, I learned, is that Pastor Naokimi already sharing, the people who accomplish great work, they always have a strong vision by himself. And there is they saying that actually, because I have somebody help me, I can do that. Not that kind of the condition. Or because we have a unity, then I can do that. Before we say that, I really want to do. No matter people who help me or not, I want to do that. That kind of the strong vision, people come to help us. It's not looking for somebody help first. Then I can do that. They say very interesting opposite. And every great people working for great work, they have their own strong vision. Not even though family member deny them, deny him, and or surrounding people give the negative advice, but still, I really want to do this because I feel this is very important. That kind of the heart breaks through the victory. That I now learn. I usually thinking, if I can help somebody to help, I can do that. Then if I don't have a help, I cannot do that. But I learned, no. Before I ask somebody to help, I really want to do that. And that kind of the vision, that was I'm beginning of New Year today. Today I actually started. So thank you, Pastor Naokimi, and everybody please stand up, then head down, join me prayers. Be most loved Heavenly Parent and our true parent, and Jesus. we learn a lot today how important of the set a goal. And the key point when I set a goal. Heavenly Parents, today, the first day of the new year. And what I learned through the True Parents teaching, God living with me. God always be in my life. That's why first day of New Year, we must go with God. That begins our daily life attitude. And Jesus also teaches us, always he said, God, what God wants, what God desire. He always sharing what is God's love. Because he had strong vision. Reverend Mrs. Moon had strong vision. And many great leaders accomplish great works. They have a strong vision. But not only their own vision. Something always connecting to the higher purpose. And God. Heavenly Parent, Father, today I really want to start centering on what I learned today, and whole this year I'm carry on, and I'm going to have a strong vision and accomplish my desire, centering on you, Heavenly Parent. And all brothers and sisters here, one day we can bring more people here, and they feel God. Oh, this is I'm looking for, and this is I feel God's love, and we can proud our church. We can proud of our community. Our community is such a wonderful. Our community, brothers and sisters, so nice. That's why I want to introduce my co-worker, my friend, my community. And today I see young generation and elder generation, older generation work together and see one vision, and we can build true ideal community centering on you, God. I really truly appreciate you give us such a wonderful day today. And even though we sometimes difficult situation, I'm expecting that situation, but God always has a plan for me. I offer this prayer in my name, Atsushi Takino and Namiko Takino, Blessed Central Family. Achu. Brothers and sisters, let's have a unison prayer.
Thank you, Pastor Takino. And with that, we're going to go on to our our closing song. Our band is prepared for us. And at this time, you can make your offering, your tithes, by just walking down the aisle. Come up to the front to the offering boxes here, or of course, make your donations online. But with that, I'd like to pass it to our band to close us off.
When my troubles are a little too heavy, who can I turn to share the weight? When my mind is cluttered and cloudy, who can I turn to clear the way? Who can I turn to? I turn to you. I won't lean on my own understanding. I will let go, follow empty-handed. You say your yoke is easy. You say your burden's light. So I let you lead me for all my life. When my past is still trying to haunt me, who can I turn to give me grace? When my future is a little uncertain, who can I turn to today? Oh, who can I turn to? I turn to you. I won't lean on my own understanding. I will let go, follow empty-handed. You say your yoke is easy. You say your burden's light. So I let you lead me for all my life. So I let you lead me for all my life. Some days are long, some work is tough. Whatever I like, you make it up. Your yoke is easy, your burden is light. You gave me life, you give me love. Whenever I'm dry, you fill my cup. Your yoke is easy, your burden is light. I won't lean on my own understanding. I will let go, follow empty-handed. You say your yoke is easy. You say your burden's light. So I let you lead me for all my life. I know your yoke is easy. I know your burden's light. So I let you lead me for all my life. So I let you lead me for all my life.
Thank you, band. Thank you, Pastor Naokimi. And thank you all for joining us for our very first Sunday of 2023. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and God bless you. Community care group hosts upstairs for lunch. Community care group host leaders upstairs for lunch.
When my troubles are a little too heavy,
You can walk up, down the aisle to greet our pastors right in the front.
to share the weight.
There you go. If you'd like to greet the pastors, just walk down the aisle.
My